What's up, Internet? You're tuned to episode 115 of the Steam Deck Podcast, Flip Screen Games' weekly gaming podcast all about Valve's portable PC powerhouse, the Steam Deck. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined as always by my panelist of very good friends and co-hosts, Mr. Stephen Radford.
Hello, hello.
And Mr. Max Wright.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Full steam ahead, boys.
I thought you were going to go with the Santa theme, like a ho or something.
Oh, can we start again?
Yeah.
Throw it back to me.
Mr. Max Wright.
Ho, ho, ho.
That didn't sound very jolly. A little aggressive.
You know, why does Santa have 3 gardens? It's so he can ho, ho.
We'd like to see a lot more of like a, Merry Christmas.
That's better. So if you couldn't tell by that intro, this is our last show before the holidays this year, our last show of 2024. We are doing something we've never done in all the years of Flip Screen Games and taking a proper winter break. We're going to be off for the next, I guess it's the next 3 weeks technically. We're going to be off until the 6th. That week, the first week, full week of January will be when we come back. We're going to take a couple weeks off so that we can rest a little bit. We can play some of the games that we didn't get to this year in our lead up to Game of the Year in January. So we have a lot of really fun stuff planned for you in the coming weeks. But unfortunately, this will be our last show of the year today. But fortunately, we have some fun stuff to talk about. So we're going out on a good note here.
Yeah, it should be a good episode. There may be something announced. Max is convinced that there's something going to be announced at the Game Awards. If there is, listen to the Flip Screen Games podcast because we will be talking about whatever it is that gets announced there.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's just a new colorway of some kind of Valve device, and that's it. So Max gets no more points.
It would be such an incredible upset for him to get no more points and then for one of us to pull ahead because of stuff that happens at the Game Awards would be just so funny.
I would be very upset. The only reason I'm thinking of it is the last few episodes. If you haven't listened to the last few episodes, there's been a lot of smoke billowing up. We've been coughing and our eyes are all red because we've heard too much of like Valve seems to be pointing towards something. And where better to announce something than the Game Awards? The last 2 years in a row at the Game Awards, they've given away a Steam Deck every hour or every minute or whatever.
Every hour they'd be giving away 4 Steam Decks.
Oh, yeah. Every minute, yeah. But they're not doing it this year, so why not? Because they're going to announce something.
They're going to give away VR headsets instead.
Yeah.
We'll see. So yeah, if there is any big juicy Steam Deck news, or if you just want to hear us break down what does end up happening at the Game Awards, make sure you go check out this week's Flip Screen Games podcast. That'll be out either tomorrow afternoon or Saturday morning, depending on where in the world you live. But we're going to record it as soon as we can tomorrow morning after the presentation because it starts at midnight for these two. So no way we're recording it tonight. So make sure you check that one out. That's the official last show of the year for the whole network here. But let's jump into this week's Steam Deck podcast because Valve made a fun little announcement this week that they are adding refurbished OLED models to the Steam store. Like we talked about. Was that earlier this year, or was that a late last year story where they brought out the refurbs?
It was late last year that they announced some refurb models. They kind of come and go depending on the stock levels.
Yeah, availability, right?
You have to kind of keep an eye on the page, but if you do manage to keep an eye on the page and you can snag a pretty good deal, the new models are coming in for the 512 gigabytes, normally £479 or $549. That gets a £90 price cut down to £389 and a $110 price cut down to $439. The 1 terabyte model, usually £569 or $649. You can get that as cheap as £459 or $519. So you can get the 1 terabyte model for cheaper than you could get a brand new 512 model. And as with every single refurbished model that Valve sells, it's been fully tested. It's been, whatever problem there was has been corrected, and they come with the same 1-year warranty that every single Steam Deck comes with, or whatever your country offers. If some countries offer 2-year warranties by default, you get a 2-year warranty, a fully tested charger, and you get the case that the Steam Deck would have come with originally.
No brainer, honestly. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but there's no reason to get a new one if it comes with all the benefits of a new one, right? You're getting it directly from Valve. It's got the full warranty. you know, the only difference is someone may have touched it before, but sure, oh well.
Which is no problem for Max because he buys, shoes.
Use shoes, use underwear.
I mean,
I'm on my 5th set of like someone else's Invisalign mouth guards.
Oh
now.
God!
My teeth are a mess now.
That was too far. The underwear didn't bother me that much, but that really did.
I was disgusted by the underwear, so that says more about you than it does about me, Pete, I think.
Does it? Then Invisalign? That's really bad. You can wash underwear, my guy. Like, I wouldn't want to wear someone else's underwear, but like, I mean, here's the real thing. We've all slept in a hotel, right?
No, don't.
Okay, that's fine.
When you think about it, it's gross.
I don't want to ruin it like I ruined 30 Rock for you. That's fine. So, yeah, I'm with you, Max. I think this is definitely a no-brainer because I think, to me, like, I'm always somebody that likes to buy, like, secondhand items for, like, big things like this where you can, because if you are, to your point, like, a little bit savvy, you can get a really good deal. It's like, big ticket items like that. I think the only real reservation is that you don't have a warranty and you don't have any guarantee of like, if something does go wrong very quickly, that like you're kind of just left holding the bag, right? So the fact that you're going to get the exact same warranty that you'd get on a brand new unit, you're getting the charger, you're getting the case. You're not losing out on anything here, and it's like I don't think that it's any more likely to have a failure a year later than any other unit, So it's like, yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those things, like if you've been on the fence, if you're looking to treat yourself this holiday season, then like I would definitely keep an eye out for one of these guys.
I think the only downside to this is that to get that price, you kind of have to be there when they're available and ready to go. Whereas you could buy a new unit now, no problems at all. But when these were first sort of went live, a group chat I'm in, someone posted it and was like, hey, tag the person, I know you wanted one of these, so grab it. And then a little bit time later, not even an hour later, he'd gone to get it and it was sold out. So yeah, this is a great deal and it's obvious you want to get it, but this is going to be harder than getting a new one.
Definitely. I think that's, to your point, is because it's such a good deal, right? It's like, why would you not get what is ostensibly an identical product for $100 less, right? It's like, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those ones, like set up an alert if you can, right? Like go like follow, somebody that monitors stock if you're not able to do it yourself, right? Set up alerts, and keep an eye out for it. But yeah, definitely a deal to jump on if you can. My question is, do you guys think that this is a precursor to anything? Is this just like the same reason that they did this, Steam Deck proper refurbished, was that like they had units that got sent in, they fix them, they want to get them off and sell them again? Or do you think that this is maybe signaling, like a price cut or a revision, or maybe even, a whiff of Steam Deck 2 or something like that? Because it feels too early to me, but this did...
Well, we did have some revisions with the LCD model as well, because they don't do the 64 gig model anymore. That's gone, but you can get a refurb one of those if you want to. We obviously saw a couple of board revisions on that model as well, as they kind of just ramped up their manufacturing process and got better at making these en masse. So it could be that we get some kind of revision there, maybe another die shrink to make it a little bit more efficient, something that they're not necessarily going to advertise, stuff that just makes it cheaper for them to make as they are making them on scale, and the user's not going to notice, but it means that they can refurbish these, use up the parts that they've got for those models, like potentially any boards that they've got left over,
and then move on
that they've got, and move on to the next revision, which will be revision B or revision C of whatever that board may be.
And to your point, something that's maybe more akin to like when we saw like a couple years into the Switch's life cycle, where it's like, the newer models have a better battery now, but it's not like it didn't get like a name or something like that. It's just like, or they did that with like the PlayStation 5, right, where like they shrunk down like the spacing.
And they didn't even advertise that at all, but it was way more power efficient. You just had to know that you were getting that model.
In theory, if Steam Decks were more readily available in that first year, and it wasn't like they come up, you get your chance to buy it, or you lose out kind of thing, do you think we would have seen refurbished models that maybe had the old fan type in there and things like that, little things that changed over the course of that first year? They got things in for repair.
people did send those in for repair, and they didn't get a different fan model. The fix for the fan was a bit of foam that they added to the outer shell. Eventually, they moved away from both of the fan revisions that we had, the Huayong one and the Delta fan, and they moved to like a more traditional style PC laptop fan, and they did that on both the LCD model and the OLED model. But I could have easily seen people sending them in and then just sending them back out with like a sticker on the back of the box, essentially. But one thing I am interested to see is potentially whether we see boxes for these change. Like we have seen refurbished boxes specifically for the refurbished LCD model. It talks about that it's been kind of done up, but we spoke last week about the new logos that they've got all over the place. Are we going to start seeing that, like powered by SteamOS logo, making its way into these boxes now? And is that kind of going to start to become the norm? Are we going to see that on more devices?
Do you think that's something we see on stuff produced by Valve, or do you think that is going to be?
I think so. I
think that's a good point, because also it means that when they make their own controller, you're looking out for that sticker. I guess we're not. You got to think, I guess, that the people that are buying these in shops, if that's where they want to put them, because that does stink of, if it's got to be on the box, it stinks of they're trying to do a more of a retail push than, because what's the point of that thing being on a website when you've already got as far as the web page to buy it? Whereas if you're in a shop in a big supermarket or something, or let's say Game in the UK, and you see, oh, there's a controller there and it says for Steam, that's when you grab that.
The only consideration I would have there would be, I could still see that being a thing that is, because like we're going to talk about some devices a little bit later in the next segment, when we're going to talk about some gift guides for heading into the holiday season, and like one of the devices is this thing called the Genki Save Point, and if you check out the like product page for that, right, like underneath it has a bunch of like icons of like devices that it's compatible with. So like I think there is potentially an argument to be made that you do start seeing a version of that sticker on every device or on every web page or every product page for a device like this, because they want to create the visual shorthand between, you see that icon and you immediately understand what that means, and it's like, oh, it's on SteamOS, or oh, this is compatible with the Steam controller, or oh, this is compatible with the Steam layout, right? Like it's like it's like that 4K icon on the console box or something like that. It's
my console box had 8K on it, so
well, there you go.
Box, you were getting
and you knew at a glance that you'd be able to use 8K, right? Of course,
exactly,
that's totally true.
Straight into my 1080p TV, and I got 8K footage.
But anyway, you get my meaning though, right? Where it's like I think it's one of those things of like, you want to have this simple, immediately identifiable little blue icon that you're like, oh, is this exactly. Windows? Like, no, it's
like
SteamOS. Okay.
Swapping from the PS4 blue to the PS5 white, you look at that game and you go, "Oh, that's a PS5 because it's got a white."
Right, and you don't have to read anything, right? Like it's a visual cue that just communicates something to you. And I think especially if they're trying to push forward with the idea of like, SteamOS is going to be this thing that runs on any device. You can like, they're trying to push it as an operating system, or at least like a gaming specific tool, right, for like these kinds of devices or whatever. And yeah, I think you're gonna want to just like try to legitimize that as much as possible and create as much of a like brand recognition, right, is I guess the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really important for them moving forwards, that it's an ecosystem. It's not just the Steam Deck. That's not the only way I can play these games, because having spoken to people, I think a lot of people think that the only way they can get Steam, if they're potentially a console player, is I've got to buy a Steam Deck. That's how I play these games on the go. But it's not.
Or they don't know that Steam Deck exists, and they're like, oh, Steam's a PC thing.
Yeah. I had someone at work that would recently ask me the same question. They were like, oh, how do I get if I buy the Steam Deck, where do I get the games from? How do I
Steam?
Where do I put them in? And it's like,
can
I just buy them on their website? Like, yeah, like I'll talk you through it. But
yeah, exactly, right? It's like
inherently obvious thing, like it is for us, or
for
people that listen to this podcast, for example.
If you're not in the world, right, you don't know.
Yeah, you're used to potentially buying a console and you put discs in, or you download it from the store that's on there, and you don't know when someone says to you, "Oh no, it's not a console, it's a PC." It's potentially a little bit daunting because you've never played a game on a PC before. And I think getting that message across that, this device runs Steam OS, and Steam OS becomes a brand in and of itself, I think
Yeah.
people will start to understand what that means. It's like,
That's
oh,
another
this
thing
runs
too,
Steam.
right? Is like having to make people understand what Steam OS is. It's like, oh, like it's an alternative to Windows. Oh, okay. And it's like there's a
Yeah, it's an
there's a
alternative to Windows, but like, why would I want to? Oh, well, it's very gaming centric. It has this,
yeah.
it's controller based. It boots you straight into a gaming mode where you can download games from a store. It feels
Doesn't
like a
have
console.
bloatware,
Mhm.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one big indicator of whether we are seeing something new from Valve will be if the OLED model gets discounted in any future sales, because traditionally the LCD model is the only model that's ever been discounted in sales. We've recently had the autumn sale, and in that sale the Steam Deck was discounted, but again it was only the 256 and 5 gig models of the LCD. The OLED model has never ever had a discount. So I think if we start seeing discounts there, it could be indicative that they're trying to clear out stock, that they've got something new on the horizon, that they've got some revision. Whether that is a meaningful revision that we'll see, like, Steam Deck Lite or Steam Deck whatever, or whether it's just something internal, which is, I think, is probably more likely. Do you bump up the Wi-Fi chip or the Bluetooth chip because the manufacturer that you're getting it from no longer makes the old one, and you can shove in Wi-Fi 8 when you previously had Wi-Fi 7, and it's just an easy win and an easy gain for you to just kind of keep iterating and beefing up your device. And I kind of feel like Valve's the company that just wants to kind of do the best for the consumer, and if they can, they'll kind of better the device in any way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I am very interested to see if you're right about the hardware side of things, because I don't know, it just seems too early to me right now for some reason.
I think it's early for another model, like
But not
a
like a
whole
slight
other
revision.
SKU,
Yeah.
but like a slight revision, like, oh, this model's a tiny bit lighter, or
I definitely think
feeling's a bit brighter.
that makes sense to me. That's reasonable. And I do think that, like, my gut reaction is that your first point is probably the most, like, spot on one, is the idea that, like, the OLED's been out for long enough now, and they've had people send them in, and they've done repairs, and they have all these parts that are sitting around and that have been tested and fixed, and it's just like, this is a great way to move units that are
the inventory.
yeah, just make sure that we're moving inventory, right, and getting rid of stuff that, like, we can't sell new, but, like, it's obviously fine, but yeah, I don't know, I guess we'll see. It's an interesting one. But that is a good way to transition into the next topic we're going to get into, which is our 2024 Steam Deck gift guide. So if you've got somebody in your life who just got a Steam Deck, or maybe is, has had one and you want to get them something fun for it, we actually did this back in, like, a while ago, like the first year of the show, episode 16. And I think it's worth updating on some of that stuff, especially because we have a lot of new listeners since then. And we actually got a reader who wrote in, or a listener, I should say, who wrote in and said, this one comes from Left over in the Discord, who said, any good gift ideas for a Steam Deck obsessed person? My brother spends so much time emulating and playing around with it. Honestly, didn't know he liked games this much, which is awesome. I love that. And yeah, so I think it seems like a perfect time to do that again. So we figure we'll give it a little update for 2025.
Yeah.
And these things won't cost like $45,000 like when we did the Ultimate Steam Deck.
Oh, that was a great one. I loved the Ultimate
Very
Steam Deck
fun.
episode. That was a really fun episode. I think for me, for someone like Left's brother, the perfect gift there, and it's, some people would probably see it as a cop-out, is a gift card, a Steam gift card. He's already heavily invested in his Steam Deck. He loves the thing. He's probably got whatever accessories he might want, or you don't know what he wants. He might have a wish list of, oh, I specifically want this case mod, or I specifically want this to make it my own. If you're not sure about that, I think a Steam Deck gift card is the way to go. You can get like a 20, 30 quid gift card.
It's a no-brainer.
We can get a game on their wish list, and it's just in time for the kind of holiday sale that is inevitably going to happen on Steam around the period. So it's like it's a great time to kind of gift some cash.
I think one I would add to that, like to build off of that, is I think if you're like saying that your brother has been really enjoying, like he's playing a lot of emulators and like there's a real emphasis on like a lot of old stuff, you know, then like I definitely think one that's worth considering is a dock of some kind. And you know, generally we advise that you go with the Steam Deck docking station. It has a lot of problems that we've talked about on this show, but I think that
it's had a lot of updates this year, though,
really
right?
has.
Like,
Right.
It's had HDMI CEC support, so you can even now, if your TV supports it, control your Steam Deck with your remote control. It's like it's kind of insane that that's possible.
And on that note, like a retro-inspired controller, like an 8-bit DOE or one of the CRKD ones, the ones that are in the shape of the classic games. If he's playing classic, like SNES games of that era, to have a controller that makes it feel like you're playing the original hardware is a no-brainer.
That's exactly where I was going to drive to. Is I think if you get the dock, or if you don't go for the dock, if you just get one that has like a USB or something so that you can plug a controller into it. Obviously, if you can get Bluetooth versions of some of these controllers as well, like 8-bit DOE. I think those are all Bluetooth friendly. So you could just do that. But I mean, like if he's like playing a ton of like N64 games or something like that, like you could just straight up buy an N64 shaped controller that connects to the dock or his Bluetooth, and then you know he can kind of like have that TV home console experience as well on the dock and have all the libraries in one place. And just one more thing I want to say about the docking station before we move on from it is the other benefit of that is it comes with an extra charger, which is one of the other things on our list, is that getting an extra Steam Deck charger is a really, really great accessory for the device.
One thing is if like the person you're buying for is a real tinkerer, 8-bit DOE do have great controllers, as we've mentioned, and I think we'd all probably recommend those. But they have mod kits for the original controllers as well. So you get a mod kit if you have like a shell lying around for your N64 controller. You can get a kit which will transform it into a wireless controller.
Wicked.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it replaces out the board. It comes with like a pack that goes in where the rumble slot would have been, that adds rumble and adds like the additional controls that you need to connect through Bluetooth.
Oh, I should definitely do that.
Yeah, they're really, really cool. They do those for both the GameCube and the N64. They're kind of on the pricey side if you want like if you want to get like with the mod kit, the rumble pack and the Hall effects thing, just for the board and the stuff, it's like $40 plus shipping. But if you've got a dead controller lying around, and I think most people probably do because the sticks on those things just went wobbly as shit.
Or I mean, you could find one, right? Like if you're gonna fix it anyway, buying a broken one of those controllers is very easy, you know.
Yeah. Being able to have an entire fleet of controllers, so no matter what game you're playing, you can just pick up the right controller, and it's your original one that you had growing up. And if
that's my long-term goal with my, because I still have my LCD Steam Deck and I want to like turn it into like an emulation station, and like that's my long-term goal with that, is to have like every controller via Bluetooth connected to it and you just pick it up.
Go on 8-bit DOE's website, get some of the mod kits. They've got some for PlayStation and for Sega stuff as well. Like if for some reason you've got a Sega Saturn controller, you can get that working.
Oh god, don't use that. Too many buttons.
Yeah.
It's like 8 face buttons on this thing. What the fuck? So, one of the other ones that I know I wanted to call out, and this is one that I haven't used personally. I know we've talked about it on the show a couple times, and everything, but like a friend of mine backed this on Kickstarter and has it and has been using it this month and really loves it. So he's a very techie tinkerer kind of guy, so the fact that he's enjoying it to me is enough that I feel confident to recommend it to you. And that is the device I mentioned early, the Genki Save Point. Right now it's back ordered, but you can order it, and it looks like they're going to be doing another shipment like this week, like sometime this week. So if you are interested, you can jump in now. I know if anybody who did the Kickstarter backing, they already have it and I've seen a lot of good conversation about it. Basically, this is a like SSD that has a like a housing. It's like an enclosure case for it, and you can plug it in. Excuse me. You can plug it into. I mean, I don't know if it's any device, but I mean it's
anything with USB-C.
Yeah.
So that supports like 3.0 speed.
And I know that like they've shown like they've shown a bunch of different things that you can connect it to, but like one of the front and center things is the Steam Deck, and literally like it says like on the page, one of the first cutouts is add Windows to your Steam Deck for access to a greater library of games, and then like for Windows it's like bring Steam OS to your handheld for a console-like experience. So it's basically like a really
if only Steam OS was released, it would be great.
Yeah, well, hopefully soon. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a really like a perfect solution for dual booting on deck. And if you are somebody who like, maybe there's like a certain game that is only Windows only right now, and like you haven't gotten to the workaround, or if you just want to take advantage of something like Game Pass, right, which we've talked about forever, like how great would it be to be able to get Game Pass natively on your deck, and
yeah,
you can definitely do that with this.
One of the things I don't know that we'll get to in this episode is today Microsoft pushed a big update to the Xbox PC app. They've added 400 new games over there.
Yeah.
100 of those being Play Anywhere games. If you're not sure what a Play Anywhere game means, it means if you buy it on PC or you buy it on Xbox, you own it on both. So if you bought an Xbox game before, chances are you can now play it essentially for free on PC. So if you are able to
with cross save, baby.
Yeah, with cross save, if you're able to dual boot, and we haven't even spoken about the fact that Indiana Jones supports cross save through Steam, which is insane. But anyway,
buck wild. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's great.
You're gonna have to explain why that's. Sorry, do you mean like as in your Xbox account?
You can play on Xbox. You can save it. If you log into your Xbox account on Indiana Jones, you can use that save from your Xbox on your Steam Deck.
Damn. Okay, that's cool.
Isn't that sick?
Hades does the same between Switch and Steam.
Yeah, which is awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah, and The Witcher 3 did the same thing. Like what an amazing world we live in now, eh?
Absolutely, it's awesome, and it's like it really like it does give you that feeling of like, why isn't this just like it's like when crossplay was still like not really a thing, and it was like and like Fortnite kind of like bullied the entire industry and be like,
that was hilarious. They were like, whoops, oh no, it was totally a mistake.
Oh no, it worked all along, and it's just these weird publishers being draconian about digital rights. Oh no, it's like, look, say what you will about Epic, that was a baller move. I'll give them that one. They gifted us. They gave everybody that, right? Like, all shade to Epic deserved. I'll give them that one, right? I feel like this is like, kind of a similar thing where it's like, why is cross save not just the standard, right?
It should be.
So many of these companies
play all these Sony games.
Yeah,
they've got so many,
and like they made you sign up for a PlayStation account, so it's like, what the fuck? Like, just save my save, share my save.
I don't understand why it's not the norm. It's really
who knows? Maybe it will be in a couple years, because like you are seeing more games do it, right? Like I didn't know that Indiana
Baldur's
Jones.
Gate 3 did it, right?
I think it did. I think so.
I think you were thinking of doing that through like switching between PlayStation and.
Yeah, I don't remember though, because I know it was cross play, but I don't remember if it had cross save.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown from earlier this year. If you played on a device and you logged in with your Ubisoft account, it was cloud save, and I was like, cool, that sounds really fun. What you actually had to do was pick one of your save files, upload that save file to the cloud, and then download it on the other end.
That's how the Baldur's Gate 3 thing works.
Every time I did it, I was like, oh my god, I'm going to delete my account. I'm going to delete my whole progress. Oh my god. And it worked, but every time I did it, I was like, is this the right button? Am I doing the right thing? And it's like a warning, like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this.
You can do it, by the way, Steve.
Nice.
With Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
It seems like there's like it maybe only works one way, or I don't know. I'm getting conflicting information, but it's definitely a thing that exists.
Yeah. What we were talking about the save point, I think that's just the enclosure. So you do need to buy an SSD to go in it. It uses the same.
Okay, I didn't realize that. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it uses the same 2230 SSD that's inside your Steam Deck. So what you could do, if you buy the 512 model or the 256 model, buy a new SSD, that's like 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. Put that in your Steam Deck, and then put the old SSD inside your Genki save point. Then you've got a bigger storage in your Steam Deck, and you can also dual boot or have a bunch of your games, like emulate games or whatever you may want on your SSD.
It's so funny to me that they're selling this without the SSD, because it literally, like, in the thing, it's like, oh, it comes with this one, and like it has this much storage. It's like says it's like 2 terabytes of storage. It's like, why would you? Like, why are you even selling it without it? Like, or I mean, I guess it makes sense to offer it, but like, it's weird that I can't pick that version.
I think they probably have run out of stock, that they've only got the one that are just enclosure only, which is fair enough, but it's a cool little enclosure. I think my favorite thing is the pass-through charging. That's 100 watts, so you don't lose any power. It kind of it can pass it straight through. It's great. It's really great.
Yeah, this is really cool. It's definitely something I want to get my hands on.
I don't know if the dock works with it though. I think it's just power pass-through. No, it does. Yeah, there's a 10 gigabit per second USB data port. Oh, that's sick. Okay,
right?
Cool. So the dock should work too.
Yeah, literally the only negative note that my friend had for it is that the like cable itself is like not the most secure. So like he's had issues with crashing once in a while if like you jiggle the cable too much. So it is something to keep in mind. It is a cable and then it clips on the back of your Steam Deck. But yeah, I mean it's really, really cool technology, and it's something I definitely think I want to pick up for myself this holiday.
Yeah, I'd imagine you'd be able to like swap the cable out if you wanted to. It looks like it's a detachable cable.
Oh,
so
nice. And there you go. Yeah, that would be cool. So that was definitely the one that stood out the most to me this year as like one of the new things to add. I think there's a couple other like classics that, you know, we haven't mentioned this time around that are probably worth calling out, like getting a screen glass protector, right? Like that's an obvious one. I think if he doesn't have something like that, that's an easy get.
I recommended one on Discord. I'll have to find it, where it's got like a sort of like a plastic thing that you clip onto the front of your Steam Deck. You then sort of rest the screen protector on it and push down, and you cannot fuck it up because they
are the only ones I will
perfectly.
ever use.
Yeah, really.
That's
impressive.
awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. You should share a link to that.
I will do. Yeah. The list here, this is where you put sort of wireless earbuds. Oh my god, that completely But I bought a pair of earphones specifically for my Steam Deck, so I knew I'd be playing it in bed a lot and things like that. I didn't want to be too annoying with it. But then when I got my new sort of earbuds for my phone, when I realized it had multi-point connection, and it would just, as soon as I turn my Steam Deck on, it would just go, oh, you want to talk to the Steam Deck instead, and just connect to it.
So awesome.
So
I love that functionality.
easy just to be able to, like just swap straight onto that. So I highly recommend getting a pair of like earphones that can connect to multiple things, because then you can just quickly connect to your Steam Deck and then back to your phone. I have not used the ones that I bought specifically for the Steam Deck since I got these ones for my phone, because it's just so easy just to go bink, there we go, that works.
That was such a game changer for me, like when I got my first pair of Bluetooth earbuds, because for so long like the quality was just not good, and I didn't want to like sacrifice audio quality for convenience. And now that you're kind of like, you're getting to that point where it's more and more negligible, you know, it's a game changer convenience.
Plus to have like active noise cancellation, which a lot of these sort of like gaming headsets or these sort of wireless, but you know, a lot of the Bluetooth headsets for gaming don't have that, unless you're buying like a full-on pair of earphones. So to have like something as carry-aroundable as that goes in your pocket as like AirPods, or mine are the Nothing Ear 2024 or whatever, to be able to just put that in my ears, blocks everything out.
How's the bass on those?
Cancelling. Pretty good, pretty good. You can sort of do it's got like the best EQ app I've ever used. It's sort of like you can even go as far as just you put your age in and it goes, we think this will be good for you, or you
That's
can.
really funny. Send me a link to that too, because I'm thinking about updating. I like my pair, but I could use. I want something that's you know me. I like hip hop. I want something that's got more bass.
I'm very happy with them, but yeah.
One thing I would say, if you're buying headphones specifically for the Steam Deck, is look out for a pair that support aptX low latency. It's a specific codec that the Steam Deck does support, and it can get down to, I think it's less than 30 milliseconds of delay. So
Beautiful.
it's less than a frame. So you shouldn't really experience any delay, because that can be a bit jarring if you're not used to it. Is like some kind of delay, especially in games. With movies, it's okay because the device you're watching it on can compensate and display the picture later. But when you're playing a game, it obviously needs to display exactly what you're doing, what the input is.
You are correct. I forgot that's why I bought the one specifically for my Steam Deck, and it was because it supports that
Low
codec.
latency
Yeah.
codec.
So yeah, I actually, you now have reminded me that's why I did that, but I won't get rid of them just yet then.
So then the last like kind of basic one that I wanted to call out was just getting a like a expandable memory card. You know, that's like another like it's I think I have said this in the past. I believe I think that there are two ideal kinds of gifts. It's either you get somebody something that like you know that they want, that they won't buy for themselves because it's maybe like a little frivolous or expensive or whatever, or you get them something that they had no idea they wanted. And I think that to me the expandable memory is on that first side of things, where it's like I don't think there's anybody who has a Switch or a Steam Deck or any of these kinds of devices that wouldn't love to have 2 terabytes of expandable memory on it. But it's like getting yourself to be like, am I going to spend $200 on a memory card, right, or something like that, or wait around for a Black Friday sale or what have you. I think a lot of people just don't end up upgrading, or they get a cheaper option and they delete stuff and they move stuff around. So that's another one where it's just like, yeah, maybe it's not like the sexiest gift, but it's one of those gifts that like if I got it and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I just have 2 terabytes of I'd be really pleased about that, you know?
It's like getting socks where you're just like, oh, I knew I didn't want to buy
socks.
socks for myself, but now I have.
Yeah.
What I hate getting is Christmas themed socks, because it's like, cool, I've got to wait a year to wear them. But
Yeah,
just like a
that's
good
annoying.
pair of socks.
Right.
As a kid, you're like, no, but as an adult, you're like, yeah, I do need new socks, actually. That's really nice.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude. Just a quick anecdote. I remember before my grandmother passed, like every year she would give me a stocking that had like gloves and like a hat in it and stuff. And I remember when I was like, I don't know, it was one of the last times she gave it to me before she passed away. I was like 26 or something like that. And my cousin, who's in her 40s or whatever, was like giving my grandmother shit. And it's like, why are you still buying him gloves? I was like, fuck off. I need these gloves.
Don't
Right?
ruin this gravy train.
It's like, I depend on these gloves every year.
Oh god. What about skins? Because I know Max had a really phenomenal experience putting his
Don't buy skins. Don't buy skins unless you're really confident that you're like really good with wraps. Don't buy skins. They're not
Getting
worth
someone something that they can ruin is not like something that's going to frustrate them.
Yeah.
And or that yeah, a skin is such an acquired
That's
taste
a
as well.
gift
The
for
look
yourself.
of
You
it,
can just-
the
That
feeling
too.
of it.
Like if they don't like the look of the one you picked, what you got them
That's
was
the problem,
garbage.
yeah.
It's like buying them a tattoo, you know, where it's like,
Yeah.
here's, you know, I've stuck this on for you. You're like, oh, great. Or like buying them a tattoo of like, oh, the design's already decided for you. Like, oh,
This is why I never buy anyone clothes, by the way.
yeah, this is why I don't like.
buying
I
clothes
don't
as
think
gifts.
There
I
are
hope
certain
Pat can't
kinds
hear
of
me.
things like that. Like I feel this way about clothes. I feel this way about like art, anything like that. I have to know you really fucking well.
Yeah,
You know, and it's like if I'm locked in that I know that you will like this thing, great. But otherwise, it's like clothes are a little bit better because at least you can just like put it in a drawer. But like when somebody like gives you like a skin or like a piece of art or something, you're like,
When you don't use it, and you don't.
yeah,
hang
and it's
it
like you
up.
never hung it up. It's like, yeah, I don't like it. Like it's like you're asking me to monopolize some of my limited
Oh,
wall
God.
space with a thing that you
Be like,
bought.
oh, it's in the bedroom. I love it so much.
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah.
you know,
I have it in my
it's not like
closet,
someone
so every
else
day
in
that I
there.
get dressed, I see it.
You know when you get like the bad hat or the bad scarf, and it's like, oh, I'm seeing the person that gave me that. Let me just quickly put that on for just
Exactly.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Let me just pull the flaps down and tie it around my chin. So
I
now
just
I'm wearing, like,
don't.
the flap
I just don't
cap,
do that
like-
kind of thing unless I'm like, okay, this is an absolute slam dunk. I know this person wants this already, or like, you know, whatever. But yeah, so I would say skins. I would maybe not.
So Steve mentioned at the start about just get a voucher, and
Yeah.
I think that's such a. So I was thinking the other day, I was bought my first ever like Steam voucher this year, like a couple of months ago. A bunch of my friends all sort of pulled together very nice and got me a Steam voucher, which I haven't spent yet. But I still like. It made me think of like, yeah, why is no one ever like? It's such a slam dunk obvious gift for me. It's just like get him a Steam. Oh yeah, I'm just getting 20 quid of Steam credit.
People don't like doing it because they're just like, oh, I'm just giving him money. There's no thought put
Yeah.
into it. But I think it's such a thoughtful gift. You know the person, you know they really like their Steam Deck, you know they really like video games. Video games are really fucking expensive, and having to like choose between what you want to play, it's potentially there's a game that you've wanted to play, but you're just like, oh, you know what, I'm going to wait for it to be on sale. I'm not going to treat myself to that yet. Well, if you get a gift card, you can play that game you wanted to play, and you were waiting for it to go on sale. You can play it now, and you can kind of experience what you wouldn't necessarily buy for yourself. And I think those are the best kind of gifts. You wouldn't buy something you wouldn't buy for yourself.
This year, I feel like it's a particularly good gift because I feel like this year, I don't know. Correct me if you guys disagree, or if you guys listening disagree, feel free to hit me in the comments. But like, I feel like this to me feels like maybe the most like old school, like traditional release window, like calendar in like years, like since like the beginning of
very backstacked and
because it's like remember what I mean, like there's like that first year of the PS4 where Dying Light came out, and it was like it came out in like March or whatever, or February, and it sold like insanely well, and everyone was like, oh, this is like the new time to release games because nothing's coming out and you can be like the one big thing. And then it's like the last entirety of that generation, it was just like, oh yeah, big games come out every quarter, period. But like this year, and not to say that ones didn't this year, but like this fall, winter,
they got taken off sale again.
Like there's just been so many like, and indies,
but
also like AA, AAA. Like it's just like, I think if you have any kind of broad taste, there's probably 4 or more games that you want to buy that are all like $60+.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? If you get a gift card, you can treat yourself. You can get something that's potentially been on your wish list for a while, and it's the best time because it's in a sale. I really don't know why people don't like gift cards. And there's other websites you can buy gift cards for if you're not sure what accessories to get someone, or you want to get them a skin, but you're not sure which skin. Dbrand sell gift cards, Amazon sell gift cards. There's always an option there if you specifically want to get them something.
There are bad gift cards. They do exist because there's that kind of card where it's like, buy this gift card and it's usable in all of these shops. People go, hey, we've got this gift card. You don't know where you want to use it for. You can use it for anywhere. And you look through the list and you're like, why isn't this like Amazon, or why isn't like the places none of the places I would want to buy are on this thing? And then you've got to go out of your way to be like, okay, I guess I'll go to, I don't know,
I'll pop to a Top Shop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What a new look do, like,
Yeah. Or it's a load of restaurants that you don't like,
Yeah.
You're stuck going to Frankie and Benny's.
Yeah,
and you really wanted to go to Nando's.
Yeah. Amazing.
No, I get what you mean. There are definitely some bad gift cards, but I think Steam's a good shout. I think that's a good gift card, especially if they're into it.
Yeah, and I think the like Steam one to me feels like less generic, than like just like an Amazon or like a whatever, because that does feel a little bit like I didn't know what to get you. Whereas like this is like I know you like video game. It's like you're giving them space to make their own decision, but it doesn't feel like it's coming out of like I'm checking a box and handing you a card.
Yeah,
I'm not using that Amazon, like that Steam voucher to buy like toilet roll or oat milk or anything.
Right, it's still a gift.
I just get in my house.
I would do that on Amazon though if I got.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the thing. It's like if I gave you like cash or whatever, and you'd be like, "Oh, cool, that's gonna pay for my oat milk," or like that's gonna
go
my
toiletries. What's my electric bill? Thanks for
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I really need a shampoo actually, so thanks for that.
Oh God.
Any other ones we want to shout out here?
I don't think so. I mean, for me, the most used accessory I have is my dock. And then secondarily to that, it's a controller. I still use my Steam controller all the time, but
don't get him a controller just yet.
Don't get them.
Wait for number 2. It's coming so close, everybody. Just wait.
Unless you're getting them a themed one, right? Like I do think the 8-bit they have some phenomenal looking controllers.
Yeah, I meant don't get a Steam controller.
Yeah, and I really would love like that 8-bit keyboard and mouse set as well. That was a good thing that you bought, right, Pete? Like the keyboard and mouse foldy thing for with the trackpad built in that you can just use on your TV.
That's a nice one. Yeah. You get like who is it? Logitech makes a ton of them where they're like so cheap and they work perfectly fine. And yeah, those are great for using with the dock if you want to play like, you know, I was using it to play Planet Zoo. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, perfect. You know, because there's some of those games that's just like they don't really work with a controller, and like you could do a custom mapping or whatever. That's all well and good, but yeah, if you want to just like
Age of Empires is always better with the keyboard.
Yeah, you're right. Like that's just a better way to play. So that's definitely one to consider too. Good shout. All right, gang. Well, that's it for 2024. Thank you guys for another wonderful year of the Steam Deck podcast. Thank you for another wonderful year of Flip Screen Games. You know, like we said at the top, if you want to check out our last show of the year and if there's any Steam-related announcements at the Game Awards, you can check out tomorrow's Flip Screen Games podcast. It might already be up by the time you're listening to this, so go check that out if you want to get one last hang with us before the end of the year. And then, of course, get involved all the ways that you can. Flipscreen.games. That's the website. Join our Discord right in for next year. We have a ton of really exciting episodes planned for January. So make sure if you want to get involved in like the Game of the Year discussion, if you want to, our first episode back for this show will probably be all about like predicting the 2025 of the Steam Deck. So if you want to write in with any of your thoughts, any suggestions for topics for next year, all that good stuff, you can get involved over at flipscreen.games. And, of course, I mean, I hope you all have a happy holiday, whatever you're celebrating. I hope you have a happy holiday, a happy new year, and I hope you spend it with people you love who love you and that you get to play some good video games.
Yeah. And just have a great time. Spend it with family. Play some party games. Yeah, just do your thing.
Merry Christmas.
Better. Okay. We'll see you next year, everybody. For the crew, I've been Pete. He's been Steve. He's been Max. We love ya!